Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Meeple has landed.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Trivian Meeples production of the Powers That Be, a Claim the Sky campaign. We are here with Patrick, Matt, Julie, and Ray. ECAT needed to take the night off to take care of some personal business, but we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, Patrick, please bring us back into the world of Excelsior.
All right, when last we left our intrepid heroes, we started off with a fine argument happening between Black Ice and Crash, when after Crash had accidentally let slip to Neva's father that she was going out heroing and fighting crime. They managed eventually to catch the way between them. Fortunately, a local villain popped his head up by the name of Get Off of My Lawn, who was very upset that his exotic plants did not win the local garden contest, abducted the winner and took her off to a part of the Astoria Park that he had turned into a just horticultural nightmare of some sort. The team, of course, busted in to help save the day and did so quite gallantly, I might add, with a little bit of assistance from a newcomer who they hadn't seen before and hadn't seen since, by the name of Calamity. Although, interestingly, Gen X thinks he might have a bit of a clue as to who this person is in regular life. And following all of that mayhem, tonight, of course, for this session, Neva is busy filling out college applications, which is the one concession she was able to make with her parents in order to not have them freak out about the fact that she goes out and gets shot at on a regular basis. Not that most bullets hurt her or anything, but you know. So we start off the next day, and we will start today with Gen X going out for his morning run. So Gen X, you are just doing your usual circuits. You go around a few blocks, perhaps through. I imagine you would want to jog through Astoria Park because that's the park along the waterfront nearby that isn't facing the industrial side of things. In fact, looks over Manhattan Island, so it's a very lovely, lovely trip by. And as per usual, you see at the one end of the park the little Parisian houseboat that is moored underneath the Hell's Gate Bridge, wherein your friend Will lives. And as you go by, you see that he is sitting upon the top of the foredeck, having breakfast with his new roommate, or who knows what, Trixie, a 10-year-old blonde girl who has a penchant for building killer robots. And as you go by, he waves.
I I don't understand that boy.
So you finish your circuit, and you get back to your neck of the woods. So you go into your apartment. Do you crack on the TV to see what's happening in the news and all of that with other, the usual morning superhero broadcast of what's happening with who?
Actually, I put that off because the slacker tends to run strong, and especially given that this is reawakening still. I mean, yeah, things are back. There's a team, there's stuff, but um, I still turn on Spotify and listen to some hair metal and kind of kick back. But I do have a um, now I will admit I do have a STEM issued alert system that is like, and it looks like an old transistor radio, the kind from, and it's actually the same one that I had when I was part um, of the Queen's Guard. So it was one of those things whenever I was, it was a subsequent meeting with STEM after it's like, okay, yeah, I want to get my bonus, and was asked like, do you still have that? Like, yeah, why don't you bring it in? So I brought it in, and I had already put, they noticed that I had a couple of band stickers and whatnot on it. And they looked at it and they looked at me and they looked at it and they said, hold on. And so they reconfigured the guts without when managing to keep the frame intact. So it's like, clearly this is meaningful for you. And parenthetically, because the person that handed this back to me could not have been a week over 31, saying, and I don't know who half of these bands are to begin with. So rather than needing to turn on the news, it's kind of like the alert system, or like listening when the in the Incredibles, when you had the guys listening to the police
Police band, yeah.
frequencies. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
that's what that is.
it's STEM's police band.
Yes, and it is an option, not a requirement. But it's sort of like, the more teams and heroes they have linked in with this, the better they can network. But of course, they want to let those who want, let all the Bruce Waynes and other wackos out there just sort of, okay, fine, do whatever. Just don't destroy much and give us the bill. So yes, listening to hair metal, kicking back, take a shower, sit on my recliner where um the radio isn't too far from earshot.
So you hear a little bit of chatter this morning. It's not a particularly busy time, fortunately, especially in the local area. But you do hear some chatter about a spotting of a circus opening up in Long Island.
Soon as I hear the circus, I wince,
Freaking
turn down
mimes.
the volume of Spotify, and reach over and turn up the knob. And I lean into it and pensively listen to further details.
So, and it's some local Long Island heroes who are just reporting in that, yeah, off of the old train tracks out out by Island City, um, they're putting up the tents and the red and white. We don't know which circus it is, but of course we fear for the worst.
Yes.
And then somebody speculates, oh, I wonder if that's because recently Memento Mori got kind of shoved out of the area. So I'm wondering if they're filling a vacuum now. Oh, that's quite possible. So just sharing some intel reports and whatnot.
Okay.
After a while, of course, you're sitting there, you know, starting to think about you should probably get some breakfast or some coffee, and you're thinking, wow, I can actually afford to go out and get some breakfast. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And then your phone pings with a text message. And it is from the of course, being STEM technology, it is slightly more advanced than ours, so it already knows who it's from. And it's a text from an individual called Rock Hard. It says, "Your building's done. When do you want to pick up the keys?"
Oh. I text back, "Are you out front?"
Oh, we're at the building right now.
"I will be right over." Ding. So, with that, I stand up, go to leave my apartment, open the door, step out, look down, go back in the apartment, close the door, put on clean shorts.
Did you put on pants?
I was just about to say, I was hoping you were just going to go straight to, put on pants.
Yes. Basically that was that is the idea, yes.
Thank you.
Oh boy, excited. I should put on pants.
Maybe you should put on some clothes if you want to fight more crime today.
Yeah, well. I am suitably dressed and go out to the new building.
Fortunately, the new building is just a couple, buildings down from your place. Hence the reason you got into there in the first place, and involved in some light crime fighting and arson. So you go over and you know that they've been working on the building, but they got the outside of the building done so quickly, you really haven't seen much of the work being done. Because, of course, the Adam family has been working on this, giving you all a delightful discount on the fact that one of the members of your team happens to be a part of the family. So the building itself is, looks wonderful. It's a 3-story tall, 100-foot by 100-foot corner brownstone or something of that ilk, once y'all decide what it looks like. Made mostly out of stone with a steel infrastructure inside. You got to watch a couple of the people welding the beams with their own fire powers or laser eyes and other things. Just fascinating to watch them work, because they didn't work like a regular crew who needs a crane when you have somebody who can actually just pick stuff up and fly with it, or just grow big and put it in this place, and somebody puts it in. And of course, the stones it's made out of were all grown on the spot, because when you can create lava, that's a handy skill when it comes to construction. So you head over, and out in front of the building is a gigantic individual, at least a good 10 feet tall, just bristling with pointy blue rock all over his body. One of those people that you don't want to get punched by. It's just, you can't imagine him drunk and surly in a bar, and you hope he's never been that way, because just massive. And he looks all proud of himself as you walk up. So, well, it's done exactly to your specifications.
I look up, look at it, look at him. Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
It was a tall order, but we really appreciate you rising to the occasion.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to do work for friends of the family, of course. But yeah, and if you need any other work done on it, of course, feel free to call us. And I believe you already know the mole people. If you need any further sub basements put in, they're very good at burrowing through bedrock and other things. So
Oh, we've met. Yeah.
Go down a good distance. So he holds out a ring with several sets of keys on it, which looks tiny inside of his big fingers. Holds them in front of you, drops it into the palm of your hand. All right. Well, it's all yours now.
We.
So let us know if you need anything, and Well, I'll see you around.
Thanks.
Starts trudging off, and he doesn't walk down the sidewalk because he's kind of too big to walk on the sidewalk. So he's just walking down the street, and cars are honking at him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm walking here."
You have been waiting to use that line, haven't you?
I'm walking here and there and there and everywhere else my footprints gets.
You don't want to hit him with your car. It'll hurt your car a lot more than him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as he tromps down the street, of course, Pa spots him and knows him well. He's, Uncle Rock or something of that nature. He waves over at your bodega.
Morning.
Morning. Job's done. Might want to check it out. It's looking really nice.
Sweet. Thank you.
So I text, I do the group chat, and I text, want to see the new digs?
Yes, please.
It's open, and send.
I'll give it about 10 seconds before Crash shows up. He's not that excited.
And therefore, Crash is the first one to show up.
Yeah. I get a message back from Black Eyes. Is it buried in college applications?
Blame Crash.
Respond back. We'll bring you coffee and donuts later.
Crash adds in, and blackout curtains for your room.
And so Crash is there, and after a little bit I start to see Pa coming by, and I then upon seeing her, like, she's still like at least a block away or so, and I text over as like, Jack, you gonna make it?
Get a text back. Oh, lost track of time. Sorry, was debating on a paper about supersymmetry and eighth dimensional time crystals. All right, be there in 5 minutes. Who the hell is Bridge Dweller 69?
Just some troll.
Or will, because he does live under a fucking bridge now, so.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Actually, is that the... I forget what the... what our troll buddy's handle actually is. Did we ever discern...
Actually, that sounds like a good name for him.
Yep.
Yeah. Done.
There's a screenshot of just your mother, your mother, your mother, your mother.
Yeah, we'll have to introduce you to him at some point.
Yes, the internet troll runs the dark web, which is called that because all the servers are underground where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
So the collection of you, roll up with, perhaps some of your stuff if you're planning on moving in. You look, and the building is, well, done. Standing there, no longer the Rub-a-Dub-Dub Club as once it was. This eyesore and source of anxiety and pain for the neighborhood. It's now your joint.
So I suppose the question is, how ostentatious do we want to be?
Well, I suggest that we ponder that as we check out the deets inside.
Yes.
And I take the key, I open up the door, I pull it open, and double doors, and clearly it's like there's nothing there because there's something that could be put there. business wise or whatever.
Yeah.
And as we start to walk to the back where the stairs slash elevator is, are whatever, I just casually throw over my shoulder. It's like, anybody have a side hustle that would like to front this place with?
So as you are getting the door open, the keys out and everything, Crash has disappeared. He comes back about a second later, puts a cup of coffee into Paw's hands, and says, "Don't say." Zip back with another one for Jack. "I never." Zip back with another one for Jax. "Did anything." Zip back with one for me. "Nice for y'all."
Well, thank you and good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everyone.
They don't
What
give
makes this even funnier. What makes this even funnier is that I'm pulling open the door, and it's right as I'm letting go, and the hand lets go, and as I'm bringing it forward, it's like it shows up, and I look at it, and I look at Crash, I look back at the coffee, I give you a tip, I give you a sip.
Just don't give me a
Noted.
lip. The problem is,
So the first floor has, at least a bit of a lobby somewhere for the residential part of it, like most buildings, and then of course, the empty business space is on the one that's probably on the actual corner of the building.
Yeah.
Give whoever's there, the most visibility. So you're going to check out the upstairs or the downstairs first?
just admiring the new building smell.
right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go down first.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
On the first date? Okay.
Wow.
Not everyone's from the Midwest.
So you take the elevator downward, which of course has some super secret code word in order to activate it to go downstairs, just in case you have guests over at your apartment. You don't want them accidentally going into the superhero base.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
You get to the first floor of it, and in the first floor, I'm not sure what else you want to put in there, but at least is your garage with a nice space where at some point one of y'all could probably figure out where you've been hiding the Humvee and bring it to its new location. It's probably sitting on a side street with a big tarp on the outside of it or something, so nobody knows what it is.
did we
In the
return
hopes
the
nobody tries
Subaru
to-
though?
Yes. In all of its glittery glory.
Damn it.
Okay, that just looks like the 16-year-old took it for a joyride, and so yeah.
Not getting the rental deposit back on that thing.
No.
But you have the either a ramp or an elevator that goes up to the alley out back, and so that's there. And otherwise it's a big, fairly empty space with a cement floor and perhaps a couple of side rooms to it to store who knows what.
Yeah. Possible armory. I mean,
Workshop.
Oh, yes. It's like this has, I speak like I'm kind of like leading the tour, even though I haven't been there myself, but having been around more superhero lairs than anybody else in the room, I kind of go as like, this baby's got everything that you could possibly want. We could have your workshops over here. We could put our arsenal over there. Super secret files can go in the office. Water cooler right there. Perfect spot.
And also of note, once you get past the second sub basement, the size of the floor can get much bigger because the other buildings around you only go down the one floor. And then you have its substructure underneath where its footers are and whatnot. And below that, so you can expand out significantly without making the rest of the building look any bigger, which you can also make the rest of the building look bigger if you so desire.
Nice.
Yeah, I think eventually having a bigger full on scientific workshop for tank space and whatever else we come up with.
Well, and having a exit or sally port or something that's not connected to the front of the building.
Yes, that
that opens into a storm drain, or out in a block alley a couple blocks away, or that.
Since you have a stake in the building, of course, you've probably pitched this early on, and there are likely a few of them, and you probably want to put in a couple that the rest of the team doesn't know about. So you have the floor below. So you take the elevator down there. Amongst the places in here, there is a trophy room. You know that this is the trophy room because, of course, Nave insisted that you needed a trophy room. And so it has, some nice glass cases and stuff in it. There's nothing in any of them yet, of course, because, for instance, like X's cane is still sitting leaned up against Neva's bedroom, closet door in her bedroom.
Yeah, I think that
swinging open at night.
Yeah. Hex's cane should be the the very first thing that gets put in.
Yeah.
Prime place when you.
Oh yeah.
No matter how you have the coffee cup with a mysterious orange rock inside of it, which you also have to figure out what you're going to do with.
Didn't you also steal a robot at one point?
The dog.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got the robot puppy.
I have a feeling that that's not going to remain stationary for too much longer.
No,
I'm figuring that could probably just go and hang out in the workshop area where it can only.
If you want to keep people from getting,
oh my god, that's going to be Jarvis.
Killer robots is an option. That's also on the floor you have your meeting room, which once again doesn't look great. It has a big table in it and a set of chairs around. And on the one side of the room, a STEM communications hub. So it is a computer terminal, a bunch of other computers and doodads around, and advanced versions of all their radio communications and everything. Just kind of hunkered up against there. They were kind enough to install that for you, along with the power and communications for it.
So so there's usually some sort of credenza for whatever needs to get put in there, file snacks over it. I pull out of my inner jacket pocket, unroll, grab some tape, and hang up the ubiquitous poster of the kitten hanging from the branch, hang in there, and I tape it up to the wall.
You just have that on you at all times, do you?
Oh no, I was I've been waiting for the building to be done.
The problem is Paw being Paw. That's basically like softcore pornography for her. So you can see the entire belly of the cat. It's shameless.
Yes, but it's socially acceptable softcore pornography. Therefore,
hey, Paw, do you mind? Just gonna move that over about 6 centimeters. That should do it.
Go for it.
That's one stem camera down.
And so, okay, the one thing, the one thing that did get done. So we lead into the room with the table. And the big meeting room, and Paw puts up the poster, and while it is lit, we can see it's only basic lighting. And I walk over to the hall, the wall opposite where the poster is. It's like, this is the one thing I asked him to put in. and it's like, just give it a little bit of that special touch. I
Oh, dear.
flip the switch, and you have track lighting, and then underneath the table, extending to about 3 feet around the diameter, the big initials QG light up. So we have lighting from above and the lit.
Nice.
We have underlighting like a tricked out
Yes.
Yep.
car. Gee.
And so you all are wincing. And I said, oh, wait, oh, wait. I flip the second switch, and it goes all neon and disco and everything while Scorpion plays.
Nice job, Dazzler.
It's programmable. It's programmable.
Of course.
Oh, good.
I'll show you the
good.
controller in there. We can. I'll share.
Okay, we're gonna have to get like, some good Latina, like hip hop and what have you, as well as a part of the rotation. Little Don Omar,
We also need like a big, the big round meeting table, but it needs to be made of plexiglass and put right over the big QG, so that like when it's on, it reflects through the table.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Very nice. And of course, there's space for a couple other rooms on the second sub basement, or whatever it is you want there. That's not a trophy or a meeting.
So,
for instance, like if Jack Dow wants to have like a whole wall of conspiracy theory stuff with string and all of that only he understands.
we'll need a whole other
Yes,
level for
yes.
that.
Yeah, no. That is going to be the separate whenever we extend outward. Correct. Into the block, not under the street, actually under the block. Yeah, no, we're putting them there.
So I have an idea, and so I would like to get one of the power dampening cuffs from the police department, bring it to Tink, and see if she could work up something that would basically emanate that through an entire room, and have one of those extra rooms be basically a brig.
Oh,
Power dampening
There you
room.
go.
oh, I like it.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing our own extraordinary renditions now. Interesting.
Well, I mean, you never know when you need to lock somebody up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Well, okay. I don't judge.
So that just makes
and-
you what, the jury and the executioner?
Sometimes.
yeah, definitely need to have part of the space that can be added on at some point, but definitely a area for working out, practicing, sparring, and stuff.
Oh, workout room.
That would,
Yep.
No,
so that we can.
You should have plenty of room on that floor for a decent workout room. The ceilings can be as tall as you want.
Yeah, because I think occasionally, please don't sue us. A la the X-Men training room, being able to go in and to be able to play around with different combinations of powers and stuff with each other
Mm-hmm.
in a
like
safe environment would probably be a good thing.
A big danger room type of thing would be extra, but definitely you can have a sparring room that's not going to fall apart when you guys use your powers, because once again,
Right.
the entire thing's
Yeah.
made out of more or less granite, for the walls, with like some drywall on the outside of it so you can hang posters.
Yeah. And because that can go like to adjacent to the garage. So if the garage is sub basement 1, and then this sub basement 2 is the main layer, and it's here, Then we can have moving that over, a sub basement 2, and even knock it down a floor. So we can have another 3 stories of training space that will accommodate Paw's physical abilities. Crash, you're already great. I mean, dude, whatever. Yeah. I don't know what the hell you could
for
do
him to run around
to
in, at least.
train. It's just like decision making, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, but the extent of Black Ice's powers and, like, range and stuff like that, and weapons stuff with Jack.
Well, we're definitely going to want to put in a armored spall liner, whatever workout room we put in.
Yep.
Just
Mhm.
granite ricochets.
Yeah. No, you can, for a modest cost, you can have a whole subfloor for training put in of, a fairly good size. Because of course, you don't want things like, Paw hitting her head every time she jumps.
No,
That would really, really suck.
Yeah.
for all of us eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, because eventually that would become everybody's problem.
Yes.
Yeah, we just fill up a shopping bag full of catnip. And
I was just thinking, it's like,
That works.
would she respond? That would be hilarious.
Speaking of which, the roof is going to need an aviary and a bit of guard spot because
Mhm.
catnip and catgrass.
And the comings and goings of the crows.
well, yeah,
Yes.
pretty sure the flock's gonna
Roost
take
there
up
for-
new
for
digs.
good.
Yeah.
Right, so you've
The
checked
first-
out the main parts of the superhero base. It's a great start, and once again, you know lots of people who can dig things out and build things for you. Of course,
Excellent.
I turn to the group and say, so, everybody pleased so far?
Yes.
It's got potential.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, putting in something on the first floor. I mean, we don't want to compete with Sunbucks. Mavis Aunt's got the bookstore, so unless we want to go into some weird niche-y thing that doesn't conflict with what she has, I would think that's out. Bodega,
Alcaria?
woo.
Let me make a call. I'm going to call Hellbender.
okay. So Hellbender answers, and of course, there's that slight weird delay in everything when he's talking because he's speaking to you from another dimension. Hey, what's up?
I have an idea. How would you like to have an anchor for the club in this dimension?
That might be kind of handy. At some point, somebody's going to take out one of those phone booths, and we're doomed.
Yep. I might have some space that opened up. I'd say in exchange, I don't know, be our concierge isn't quite the right word. Neither is receptionist, but I think you get the idea.
We can definitely talk about that. I think that's not a terrible idea.
All right. And I will actually give him the address, or if it doesn't actually have one, I really don't want to give the Pittsburgh directions of where the Rub-a-Dub Club used to be.
Yeah.
And so hang up with him, zip back to the rest of the group. How would you all feel about a bar?
Well, As long as we have the rule of, no football on TV, American or English.
Huh.
No hooligans.
Yeah.
No
No
hooligans.
hooligans.
No sports bar,
No.
honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Much more cultured clientele, I'd say.
I grumble. I'm gonna have to watch my damn football somewhere else then. God damn it.
Thinking a satellite location for the Hellbender.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you actually caught me. I'm not doing that on camera, but I was taking a sip of my coffee. And you said satellite location for the Hellbender Club, and I turn and I go because I remember what happened last time.
So I think Hellbender could be convinced to be our host. Oh, no, that's not the right word. He can get messages to us, serve as a kind of an entry guard in
That
exchange
works.
for the space.
Major
And-
domo.
Yes.
And the rules of don't start shit, etc., etc. The answer for the club would extend to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hellbender
Basically,
courtesy.
run the bar up front, and then of course there's the mysterious door in the back
Yep.
to the real bar in the back for people who have powers and nefarious things to do.
Yep.
Not a bad idea at all.
We could turn this
Yeah,
into
we
a
could-
franchise.
Hire a couple
Right.
really good bartenders, make sure that all the classics are covered,
Mhm.
as well as coming up with, kind of, new variations on them,
All right, so do you want to check out the upstairs then?
Sure.
Sure.
Hmm?
Sure.
You take the elevator up. So, as mentioned, there's 2 floors above the ground floor, so figure there's probably room for 3-ish apartments, and on each floor should do everybody pretty well. And yeah, well, it's actually 1 apartment for everybody, and then an extra that either you can move like Nava's parents into, or leave for some other good purpose that you might have.
Oh no, Niva would kill us for even suggesting that.
Right.
Gotta cut the umbilical cord at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or just give a place for the crows to live.
Yeah, true.
Well,
Well,
that's
yeah,
the
that's-
roof. That's the
Train.
rooftop aviary.
So you get up onto the 2nd floor. So who wants to live on the 2nd floor and who wants to live on the 3rd?
Third, I'm an overcat.
I don't get a room in the basement.
Not that we know about.
Well, I mean, you've got the conspiracy wall room down in the basement. This would just be the actual apartment, someplace to, shower, shave, and sleep.
A
Something
place to
that
put
doesn't.
your duffel bag of clothing that you own.
Yeah.
Yes. And all the guns.
Yes, you can certainly have a built-in gun vault in your apartment if you want.
I will take one of the rooms on the 2nd floor since I don't fly.
So as you check out the apartments, each one has been done to your particular specifications for things that you like. So like you might not have the kitchenette inside of yours if you never cook. And you might have a gun vault. You might have an extra large bed or an extra small bed. However you would asked it to be put together, it's more or less put together and sparsely furnished with the absolute necessities that they could think to put in, because they can't put your personal touch on it, but they can certainly get a mattress up through the window. And the water pressure in the showers is absolutely spectacular.
Okay. I'm sold.
Nice.
Unlimited hot water. Yeah, that just.
Because of course people.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
just tap right back into the main and redid the water entirely.
Well, no, it's just every couple of months we have to have the person come in and re-up the lava that is giving us the endless hot water.
Yes, yes.
Haven't just sunk a geothermal bore in.
We've owned the place for
Yes.
like 10 minutes. Give us time.
Y'all know people though.
Guys, could you dig down into the mantle of the earth so we could use that to heat the water?
And
Okay.
and also run independent power. Come on, it's multitasking.
Yes.
Eco-friendly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Our power needs are going to be just astronomical.
Yep.
Gonna need a, fiber optic connection that is about as big around as my thigh, just
And that's why you guys happen to know the internet troll. He can hook you up with some interwebs.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he actually has ventilation, his system's doing way better than it was before.
excellent.
So, there's the silver plan, there's the gold plan, there's the platinum plan. We want the unobtainium plan.
Might have to send him down some upgrades.
Google is leasing space off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say if we need to send some support down, that's okay. We can just kick a few more interns into the pit.
Oh!
So you check out your places, and then of course there's the roof. Always an important piece of land that you have. So one of the things that's on the roof is a landing pad up on the one corner where anybody who can fly or jump has a place to actually hit the roof without damaging the rest of the stuff that's on the roof. And they were nice enough to set up a built-in grill on the one side. Just in case somebody wants to do up some dogs or hamburgers in a civilized fashion without boiling them.
Okay.
Depends on how Excelsior y'all are. Some people insist, of course, on just going out to the cart on the corner.
Yeah.
And so what else have you requested to be put on the roof?
Well, is there a fire escape or like one of those shoot thingies they have for construction on really tall buildings?
Oh, yeah.
You can certainly have either of those. You have the alley running behind, and on the other side that faces the building, there is a walkway in between. So you can certainly put either in there, such that those of you who do not fly and other things can still get up there, as long as you can jump up the couple feet to grab onto something to climb up.
It's actually an invulnerable spiral tube slide.
Okay, well, I figured that the roof access also, there would be the staircase up that would, the top of it would, open up onto the roof. It would have the...
Right, but...
Yeah, you all know what I'm talking about.
But we're superheroes. Can't imagine a situation where rapidly egressing wouldn't be important.
True.
Especially for those of us who, can't really fly. And,
Yeah.
Rapid egress, that's my specialty.
It's
you can definitely have some sort of tube slide that spits you out into the alley behind.
I'll just
Whee!
rooftop jump.
Yeah.
I go fast enough, I should be able to clear an alley.
So along one side of the building, so there's the aviary, but there is a special, it looks like a little table outside of it. And it's about, 2 feet square opening. And it's like a little alcove with innocuous but vaguely recognizable switches. That is the emergency crow notification system. And because if we are inside in the meeting room, there are no windows. So it is basically an elevator for Nox to come in, do the Corvid intelligent button switch, put the rock in the little bottle and everything,
Nice.
and then and I would just love to see the comic book animation of, and going sideways and up and down, and just side views of the bird doing this, that, bracing itself, and it would come out from the wall right across the table for to actually. So there's the physical, and there's also, I think there should be a basic a communication system if physical presence isn't required, but basically the crow's ack could be a tapping button, and then that lights up on the wall, Nox alert, or something like that.
The hey assholes incoming, warning.
Exactly.
Most buildings, of course, have PA systems, so you can answer the door when somebody shows up
Yeah,
with your food.
True.
So just have a
Virtual doorman.
setup for precisely that for them.
Or yeah, that we could do that too. That might be simpler, is just do a camera for the crows.
Although giving them actual access down into the basement, I think works out quite well, because anything bigger than a crow can't get through it.
Correct.
So, it does have its own security.
Mhm.
And they might have fun with the pneumatic tubes. I don't know.
Just a bit.
You don't want bored crows.
No.
Yeehaw!
Speaking of bored animals, I need to feed the cats.
So does
What's the boys' bowl? I'll try this upstairs.
should I assume that Jonah Hellbender shows up and we have our little discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Hellbender materializes himself back into, ordinary reality, not too far away, because one of the fairly common places is just to the in the industrial section up to the north. So then he just moseys off towards your place and he starts checking it out. So a front bar to the real bar.
Exactly.
I like it. That way I can kind of vet people a little bit better than just using the coins. Although those still come in handy.
Oh, absolutely.
We will still have those because, I like getting people from, various places to show up.
Yeah. No. Make no mistake. I'm not suggesting you abandon your current enterprise. Just expand.
Oh, which reminds me, he pulls a coin out of his pocket and flips it over to Jack.
Okay.
I have somebody back at the club who wants to talk to the two of you at some point today.
Anyone we know?
Oh, certainly. Well, he cackles to himself as he's checking out the space and starting to take measurements. How good is the soundproofing in here?
How good do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's up to you guys. We tend to get kind of loud. You look at the stone ceiling and you're like, it's probably good.
Yeah. Whoever's there to talk to us, we probably wouldn't want to keep them waiting. Shall we?
After you.
Okay, what did I miss?
Jack and I are about to head to the Hellbender Club, as there is someone there who wants to talk to the two of us.
Okay.
And it was very specifically the two of us.
Okay.
So the two of you head up north a bit more and so Jack, this is kind of an interesting thing for you, because he's taking you up to the northern part near where the airport is, which is a very industrial area, which looks over Rikers Island, which is just a delightful place overall.
Yeah, the
although
view is gorgeous.
As you get close, you notice an interesting thing. There's a for sale sign on Rikers Island.
Really?
If only we'd known.
That's a big hunk of property, though.
Never going to get the smell out of there, though.
And so he takes you.
Hold on. So Crash sees that, ponders for a bit. Next time.
So he takes you, down a couple streets, through an alley, and then you walk up to an old payphone stuck to the side of a wooden light pole.
Okay. Not too many of these anymore.
Oh. Especially not ones like this. Your coin, if I may. Pop it in the slot. Table for two. I believe we're expected.
All right. If y'all could kindly give me some strength rolls to see how well you deal with the transport. Target 3.
Can I get an asset on this because this is something that I've done quite a bit?
Yes, you've done this quite a bit, so.
Okay. Sure, I'll put 1 point of might in it, or one point of effort into it. Good thing I did.
All right. So you feel your body simultaneously expand and get torn apart and get contracted into a point of nothingness, and then you re-expand back into a bar. Your stomach does not like this process at all, and as soon as you feel like you're about to, go over the top, Crash turns you and points you to a bucket that is on the floor, apparently for exactly this purpose. So the coffee that you had earlier in any breakfast, of course, leaves your body in rather violent fashion. Crash wobbles a little bit, but keeps himself together. And you are now, check the elevator, although only 2 of you are there right now, into the Hellbender Club. Let's knock the non-present folks off to the side. So, Crash, please describe the Hellbender Club for our friend.
So the Hellbender Club looks like it's trying a little too hard to be a dive bar. Think kind of like Sister Margaret's from Deadpool, but a little bit more discerning in its clientele. It's not a biker bar. It's not like an actual dive bar, but it's decorated to look like it.
Right.
There is certainly a hell, inferno, fire motif. There is a guy behind the bar. He is kind of tall and kind of thin, and you see as we finish rematerializing, you see that his eyes fade out from glowing a reddish orange. He nods at Crash, looks over and kind of at Jack.
Excuse me. Can I get a double bourbon, please? Well is fine.
Sure.
Takes it. Goes back over to the bucket. Okay. Better now.
Excellent. Evening, Marcus.
Evening. So, actually, it's morning yet. According to the big clock on the wall. You never know what time it is out here.
Yeah.
Don't look out the window, whatever you do.
It all depends on when you've actually slept. Otherwise, it's all just relative.
Jonah said there was someone here who wanted to speak to us.
Oh, yes, yes. Your friend's in his customary rear boot.
Oh, goody. Him again.
So as you're going through the bar, you recognize some of the faces that are there. Not necessarily, like any of the A-listers off of the newsreels or anything for heroes and villains and whatnot, but certainly people who are in that line of work. And especially people you've seen in the background of things before, perhaps mercenaries for hire or other types of ne'er-do-wells, just kind of hanging out, minding their own business or doing business. Having nice quiet chats with each other about this or that. Money is exchanging hands. Drinks are getting passed back and forth. It's a pretty interesting place, especially saying is that, once again, it's still fairly early in the morning yet.
Right.
So you go into a back corner.
So as we're going there, I hold up a hand because I'm assuming Jack is behind me since I know where I'm going. I forgot to brief you on the rules. No spandex, no heroics. Don't be the first one to use powers. And no lingering injuries. Certainly nothing mortal.
Fair enough.
You think about the big pistol that is, in your waistband right now, like,
It's not in a waistband. It's in an actual concealed holster. Come on. Don't want to shoot my junk off.
True.
Just don't be.
So you get to the back, and you see an individual sitting in the back corner of a booth who sees the two of you walk in. Ah, excellent. Good to see the two of you at the same place at the same time.
Is this Mr. X?
Yes. The mysterious Mr. X.
The mysterious Mr. X.
Well, you have an advantage of me, sir.
Oh, only vaguely. I happen to know your associate quite well. So please have a seat. There's something I'd like to discuss with you.
All ears.
Picks a tablet up off the table, taps a couple things, puts it down, and rotates it towards you. And you see a news broadcast from the Excelsior TV network. One of the several networks running out of Excelsior. They just happen to be the one that got the word Excelsior in their name. And you see a newsreel about the fight that you had had the night before with Gaddafi.
Okay.
So you see the group of you fighting the various plants. You see Jackdaw pulling out his big old pistol and taking a good shot. You see Gen X fly up into the earth his lasso and whip it around Gaddafi and then say, I can't remember what his pithy statement was at the end. And then pull on it and shock the man into unconsciousness. Like, okay. Yeah, so, it's a sort of thing that happens to heroes. They show up in the news eventually. And so Mr. X looks at it and then just stares at the group of you.
And?
Well, what's the obvious question with this?
Who was there recording this when this happened?
Who filmed your fight? Exactly.
Oh.
Did you see any cameramen there?
No, I tend to prefer not to be photographed.
And you will notice your face never shows up. All you see is your mask and profile. It's tastefully done. But note, your new friend over here is in the corner of the one shot. He's not taking the film. You all aren't taking the film. So who filmed it?
Is there an audio track to go along with this?
Yes. Yeah, in between the things that the reporters are saying, you're hearing the battle going on.
Oh, no, sorry, no, I meant the reporter. Specifically, I want to know if I recognize the voice as the reporter who who tailed me to the dark facility.
No, it isn't.
So, question.
It's one of the news anchors. Yes.
Does Jean's friend ever show up in the footage?
Yes.
Okay.
You actually see her at the one part at the end of the battle where she throws the one gun into the air, catches it in her hip holster, holds out her other pistol, fans the hammer back, kills the one plant monster, and then blows the smoke away and plants the pistol into her other holster. So once again, excellently shot, perfect angle. You don't remember any cameras being there.
Nope.
No, but so does this look like it from the quality of the image and like the shakiness of it? Does it look like this might have been done by like a wearable camera, like the one that I had?
The film clips come from several different angles.
Oh,
Some of them above you, some at ground level. Some surprisingly close to you.
Drones?
Mr. X says,
no.
that is something I have considered, but did you see any drones? Or more so, did you hear any drones?
No.
No.
So it sounds to me like we've got a sneak.
So
At least one.
I have the raw footage that was delivered to the news agencies.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls out a card, hands it to you. Perhaps your analysis may show you some things, but an interesting thing when you think about it, all the time you have film footage of superhero fights, fighting villains. Where are the cameramen coming from? Who's filming this? Have you ever seen a news crew at a fight? Occasionally you might get a cameraman or two, but does this explain this? And how would a news crew know to get somewhere until the fight's already over? Fights don't last that long. So, yeah, a question I'm kind of curious about myself.
Interesting.
I think we can take
Figure-
a see if we can see what we can suss out.
Yes, well, it is your image after all.
Mm.
Fortunately, I'm not on any of these and probably never will be because I'm, practically nobody.
It's
Right.
that practically that continues to perplex me. But a discussion for another day, I think.
I think so.
All right.
Well, pleasure meeting you, Mr.
Oh, it's Mr. X.
Okay.
Say, pleasure meeting you as well. I will pass your regards to my associate.
Idly.
Crash looks like he's about to ask something, and then he gets that look on his face of, no, I'm just going to file this away for later. And as we walk out, I grab a coin from the settle up. Well, we did have a tab. Settle up the tab with Marcus. Toss Jack another coin. Well, you seem to be the analytical type. And I hold out the data card to him. Shall we go see what we can suss out?
Sounds like a plan, as Jack is just rolling the coin over his fingers like a magician.
Yep.
The bartender is quite impressed with your skill, by the way. He doesn't say anything when you see he's watching you like, ooh, damn, he's better than I am.
Yep. So Crash takes the coin, flips it up, and snatches it out of the air, which is the that is the motion for returning home, or returning from whence we came.
So once again, the world goes all crazy. You're pulled apart, squished together, and then bloop, you're back on the street where the phone is.
And that's the Hellbender.
Fortunately, you don't have a whole lot left in your system aside from a little bit of bourbon that might have gotten down your throat.
So, nth dimensional sheath?
Something like that.
Okay.
That's what we're...
Certainly a different energy state than
Yes.
we're occupying right now.
Yes. That would be the club that we're looking to host.
Nice folks.
I thought so. Or at least
Gonna have to
our kind of crazy.
take stock in Dramamine next time.
I think we might be able
Here's your thing.
to build in a shortcut or two. I'll have a...
Can we get Gene to look up something for us?
Is it important enough that we need to text him, or should we just wait till we get back to the place? We need a better name.
We can wait.
All right. I will see you there then. And I take off.
So 10 minutes later, you've moseyed back down the street to where it is. It's not that far, honestly, because the Detmar Steinway neighborhood is not all that big. So this is like, a third of a mile away.
Oh, okay. I was thinking more along the lines of like a mile or two.
So you
nice
roll
day
back to the
for a
building.
walk.
So you've got the card.
Okay.
So you're going to involve the rest of the team with this?
Are we?
Oh.
As they were there.
What's the old saying? Misery shared is misery doubled? Something like that.
Something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't think
misery shared
Neva's...
is bad for company. That's what it is, yes.
Yeah. I don't think Neva's gonna terribly be overjoyed that her likeness is on the evening news.
Oh. We'll have to see just how clear the images are.
Okay, does the meeting room have an AV set up yet?
Indeed, strangely enough, it does have that delightful STEM computer system. Unless you wish to get another computer system to put in that's not attached to the STEM network.
Yep.
You can get your... Well, actually, you do have your own computer rig and whatnot, so you can just bring that down there with you.
Bring that down, just pull it out of
the other wall.
Yeah. All right.
And Tink would have had the connection into the dark web already established there anyway for her own purposes.
Sure.
At least so she can chat with her friend.
Gotta talk to her about getting a projector set up that's not attached to the program network. All right, gather around, boys and girls. We've it's time to watch some picture shows.
So you're sitting around your table for the first time as a team.
Yep.
And just for completeness, there's a crow sitting on Neva's seat.
Yep.
Taking notes.
It has a little board with the buttons on it.
Oh, that's right. We need to have some kind of snack dispensary.
Yeah.
A bowl of peanuts
Nuts,
there, yeah.
checks.
Mm-hmm. So, we seem to have made the news.
Crash
Really?
comes in with one of the larger bags of the little miniature gummy worms. Don't judge.
Not.
If you judge, I don't share.
So
I'm okay
on
with
the
that
card
arrangement.
on the card you have a file that is named after the network, so you presume that's the actual news report, and then a collection of about 20 or 30 other files of various size that you figure is the, as he said, the raw footage that was delivered to the news stations. So itself is probably then edited out to some extent, but it contains more than just the news feed has. So what do you start with?
I'll start with the news feed. Just have the professionally edited footage with commentary.
You play the news feed. Gen X, you are impressed with how you look in this, especially at the end. They got a perfect thing of you like lassoing the guy and then finishing him off. You're like, yeah. Oh, god damn, I look good.
Gene, focus. Okay, Gene.
What? I
Active-
was
This is some good
focusing.
promo material.
You don't understand. I never got to see this 25 years ago.
Okay, but you do realize this is a problem, right?
Fine.
So what's on the footage?
So you click on one of the other files and you see a more protracted version of the events focusing on Gen X. So the camera is paying attention specifically to him throughout this. And so you see his part of the fight, like where he, fights a couple of the plants and takes up into the air, and then after grabbing the vine and then energizing it and tying it up. The next one has the same thing, but with Crash. And it does a surprisingly good job of keeping itself panned out enough so it can keep you in frame while you're zipping around. It loses you only a couple times, but then rotates to get back onto you. The next one has Neva, and you note that this one's a little more jumpy because anytime you're about to see more than just like a shadowy profile of her face, it cuts out and then restarts again a couple seconds later. So footage has been removed, and it's any footage that would perhaps show who she was.
Well, that's convenient.
Interesting.
You see, Paw's camera is shooting from a lower angle to make her various leaps and whatnot look even better. So, you see her like leap up and get into a fight with Plant and then jump off.
Dramatic.
And then,
I like it.
yes. Yeah, it's very true. You're looking at it and you're like, wow, I didn't realize that I actually look pretty good doing this stuff. This is pretty awesome. Although a couple times it does get a picture of your butt because it's you've jumped and landed
Okay, cat
away
butt.
from the camera, and you're like, so it's like
It's a thing.
your tail whipping through the air, and I'm glad they didn't include that in the news thing.
The family show, right?
So the ones with Jackdaw seem to have some sort of filter on it because the lighting is a little bit different to make it look like you are kind of perpetually in the shadows. So it's kind of difficult to see much more of you than your profile and the shape of the mask, and then the bright flash of the gun as you pull out and aim and take a good shot. Once again, it doesn't actually look bad at all. You would kind of expect that to have been staged in order to look that good. And then the last file, actually, the second to last file, it completely pays attention to Gaddafi. And it's just footage of him carrying on the fight, trying to direct the plants, and the person who's at his feet getting yanked out from him, and getting all angry and stuff. It skips over any parts where he does profanity, though. As you seem to recall, he swore a bit amongst his muttering. There's one of the plants. So you see the mushrooms like contract and spew out in spores as you would come close to them. The vines whipping around and trying to wrap around people and hurt them. And then the last one you see is a similar thing to the rest of you, is Calamity, as she takes the lasso, catches the girl by the feet and drags her behind her, lets her loose, gets her to go, pulls out her guns, and then starts just shooting everything in sight with, and once again, she actually looks really good doing that. But the way that the angle is shot, you don't really see much of her face because she's wearing a bandana around her mouth, and the brim of her hat keeps anybody from seeing her eyes. And the angle maintains that. Whenever it breaks that image, it skips ahead to an image where that's happening. So none of you saw a single camera there.
Interesting.
How far away from our base was that fight? I can't remember.
It's not remarkably far away. It's over in Astoria Park, so it's let me pull Google Maps and do the measurement tool.
We go and see what I can find. And Crash is going to zip over to Astoria Park and basically case it, looking for the positions from which the footage was filmed. I can't imagine I'll be lucky enough to actually get any of the cameras, but to see if anything looks disturbed to the point. See if there happens to be any clues that happen to drop. I don't know what I'm
about
looking for.
half a mile.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if like micro drones would be small enough and maneuverable enough to be able to get all this footage and go completely and utterly unnoticed. But the question is how would those drones be able to get there to catch the entire fight? Unless, there's such a huge network of them that they're always there, so there's not that far for them to travel to wherever there's any sort of action, and like how they would be triggered.
Well, I mean, there's three things come to mind. I mean, besides this is a professionally shot and edited from multiple angles. So
montage.
So Jack definitely wants to start extrapolating where the cameras would be based on the angles from the fight, and a map of Astoria Park. There's a couple other things that I kind of want to know. Gene, you mentioned when you were registering the party that Will was there.
Yes.
And with what seemed to be a bunch of supervillains. So it's not taking a genius to figure out that the program is also registering villains. So do you have any contacts, and can you find out if Gaddafi is a registered member?
Well, since I was already going to check my contacts at STEM, because this looks awfully professional and almost like that the tech, because I believe, I forget now, between the two battles, did I jump up and lasso?
Yeah, you were flying.
Plant dude?
You were
Okay.
flying.
So and clearly I didn't see anything from above, yet they got all this footage. It's like, it makes me almost wonder if that is STEM issued. Like that is quality enough to be STEM issued. And I wonder what tech they have on the books and who would be using such tech.
Whether it's got stealth attached to it, optical lensing, that sort of thing.
Oh, sure.
And that brings us to Knox. Hey, buddy. How close was the flock to that fight?
Fairly close. They were not themselves getting involved in the fight, but they certainly were in the trees in and about paying attention to what was going on. Basically trying to keep themselves from getting attacked by any of the spores or vines, but they like to keep a good eye on what's happening with black ice.
All right. I want to use my decipher to try and talk to them and see if they noticed anything like filming or that was weird flying.
Other than us.
All right, hang on a second here. Have you roll for this because you don't have the skill in actually talking to them.
No.
So what have you got?
It's basically costs intellect point, which with my edge is free, but make an intellect roll of difficulty 3 or higher based on the complexity of the language or code to get the gist of the message.
All right. Give that a roll. That'll be a 3. The crows like to talk, and they're more intelligent than most things.
Okay. Assuming the intelligence shift kicks in.
Yeah, it should automatically.
I don't think I added that to your decipher ability, but you can always just, in the dialogue, you can always say additional modifiers, difficulty modifier, eased by 1, or by however many interests you have.
Yeah, just the 1. I'll throw some...
Yeah, so it'll drop it to a 2.
Which is a 6. Yeah, I'll throw a level of effort. And let's see what we get. Good thing I did.
Got it, yeah.
That's twice tonight.
Barely. The dice are not my friend.
All right. So you try to bring the message across, and Knox sits there for a second and it pokes at the snacks for a moment. It's like, goes over to the board, taps his beak into the keys, and you get no see others.
Okay. It's worth a shot.
Well, if anything would notice, something else flying around, it'd be things that fly around. They're quite good at not running into things.
That's what I figured.
Especially urban crows. They're used to, things being around like power lines and other stuff that they have to avoid.
Oh yeah. Well, probably drones at this point too. Wonder how many of those have started ending up in nests. Well, that means, either they were far enough away that the didn't make the crow's awareness, or they were basically not able to sense it. So, all right. So yeah, I want to sit down with the footage and start extrapolating where
Basically build
the
like a 3D model of the location and then
Yeah.
construct where the cameras have to be all the time.
Yep.
Okay. So you're feeding that stuff into your computer. Gene, did you want to talk to contacts or did you want to try to figure out information through the computer network?
Me. I want to roll the bureaucracy
Okay.
to see if I can choose the right option first.
To figure out if Gaddafi was registered was your main question, correct?
Yes.
Or at least your first question. Okay. So that one will be target 3.
Yay.
All right. So you think about it and you're like, actually, they do keep the registry, and the registry is accessible by, people who are in any sort of position, for instance, a team leader. So you pull up, you query for any spelling you can think of for get off of my lawn. And you can even, look up his address and whatnot, seeing as you were there, killing
Yeah.
plants. And no, he was not registered. There is an entry for him dated last night, right after the fight. Some analysts put in that, this person has popped up, apparently with malicious intent, abducted somebody and was promptly defeated by the Queen's Gambit. And attached to it are a bunch of video files. The names all look very familiar.
Yeah.
Although, looking at the details, the video files on the STEM server are a bit longer than the ones on the card.
So not only was he not registered, but we have even more footage on these files than what we just saw.
Are you able to download that footage? Basically, is a view on the website only, or is it downloadable?
Oh, everything is downloadable.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not really a website. It's its own interface.
Oh, okay.
STEM has its own network that's not quite attached to everybody else's. Needless to say, security reasons.
So, Patrick, I did say that I was going off to search through Astoria Park.
Yes.
Was I able to find anything, and have I returned to the group at large yet?
Let's see. Okay, I believe you will have to do an intellect roll, difficulty 5.
Perception?
Yes. I don't think you have. Yep, there. Yeah, you have perception, but don't think you have any specializations in it. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So perception, target 5.
Could I get an asset from the fact that I am specialized in stealth, and would therefore have extra knowledge of where such things should be hidden?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So you go to where the fight was, and so far,
And I get a minor effect.
Oh, excellent. So the plants are still there.
Mm-hmm.
You know enough to avoid the mushrooms, because if you get close enough, they're going to throw spores at you and do terrible, terrible things.
Yep.
So you're checking the rest of the area, and you spot something interesting. Is that there is, as you would have predicted, a small drone sitting broken on the ground next to one of the plants. You're guessing from looking at it and looking at the damages sustained, you're thinking the plant might have gotten it while it was thrashing around, because those things were not very precise
Yeah.
organisms. They have lots of limbs and they're just doing all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
Fortunately, this one, got shot numerous times and fell apart.
Well, that's coming home with Daddy. Um, so, hmm. All right. So, I have no particular thoughts for the minor effect. I'm willing to take it is in such condition that I can actually get it back to the base and possibly get some use out of it as the minor effect, if that's okay with you.
I think with the minor effect, you also don't miss any of the pieces. As it's broken, it's broken apart. So you pick up all the various bits and whatevers that you can find that are not made out of plant. Scoop them all up in your hands. It's not very big.
Yep. And then will
head back.
Yeah, I will return to these jokers. So for dramatic purposes, shall we say that I show up at a moment when there is some discussion about drones going on?
Certainly.
You mean like this one? And I kind of clatter the pieces out onto the table.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be small enough that we really wouldn't notice it or even multiple ones as we are while we are in the middle of combat.
Someone left a toy behind.
Yeah. Should definitely look at this or have Tink try and analyze it, because it's small, but that's certainly a size that the crows should have noticed.
So there's one other thing you notice about it pretty quickly. There are no propellers.
Is this like the whole bumblebees should not theoretically be able to fly because their wings are too small for their body mass kind of thing?
Yeah. You don't see how it flies. It does not have propellers. There are no wings included. There's no place where they would be articulated anyway. It is you're guessing from how it's shaped. It's kind of, fairly tubular shaped, about you figure it's kind of built around like the structure of like maybe a lipstick size camera type of thing with some extra stuff around it for whatever propulsion it does have. But yeah, it's fairly small, that one of these you can just hold one in your hand without a problem, and you're not sure how it flies.
Right.
But it doesn't have any legs or anything either, so obviously it isn't crawling around.
Right. And it, doesn't have any projections that would be like, I don't know, ionization surfaces, like, theoretical forms of propulsion that Jack would kind of be aware of, because there have been in the real world experiments with using ionized air as the lift surfaces for.
So interestingly, this is something Paul might be able to tell you about.
Okay.
What did she roll for this? Ooh, and she has an inability in it, no less. So, I would like you to make an intellect roll, difficulty 4, but take into consideration you have used your skill, knowledge or figuring out problems or puzzles. So you might want to put a little extra welly into it.
So I would like to use the helping rules, since I am not trained in that, but also don't have an inability in that. Basically, I can help her and give her an asset on the roll.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, Crash and Paw are the two people probably least likely to actually be able to do this. We're gonna put our
Okay.
heads together. And see what
Okay. So what's my base difficulty again?
Base difficulty is 4.
Okay.
And it's on a skill you have an inability in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's built into the
the skill level.
the roll thing.
Yep. And then give yourself 1 asset because Crash is helping.
So the question is going to be: is Crash helping or is Crash helping?
No, Crash is actually helping.
Helping. Okay.
He is helping, not helping.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I should have thrown a level of edge into that,
Or a level of effort, you mean?
or a lot of level of. Actually, can I try again, Patrick?
Yeah. At the moment, everybody's trying to puzzle this out and also work on a 3D model of the
Okay.
space. So it's not like you guys have anything else going on this afternoon.
And I will throw in a level of effort, and this time
There
I
we
got
go.
it. Excellent.
So you remember something about since you come from a family with a lot of people with a lot of really weird power, and you spent most of your life living in a complex full of these people, you know something interesting about flight is that some of your friends fly by flapping wings. Like your friend Harpy has fucking wings she can fly with. She has very long arms, feathers all over the place. She can, swoop and dive like anybody's business. Other people fly through projecting something behind themselves, be it like a stream of ions or something. It's just enough to generate propulsion.
Okay.
Others fly using other means. Like for instance, and you of course also, since you have one of the premier practice sites for anywhere for people trying to learn their abilities and whatnot, as your friend Will has discovered, you have a lot of people stop by. So for instance, that when Ace flies, Ace does not have any propulsion system. There's nothing springing out behind her when she flies. She just moves very fast through the air. So it is seeable if somebody was able to replicate how a powered person flies and put it into a drone, the possibilities for propulsion expand enormously. If in there somewhere is a device that, for instance, like some people kind of just fall through the world because they turn gravity in the wrong direction. Others should move themselves magnetically or through other forces. So there's a fairly large set of things that would allow a drone to propel itself around without using any actual means of propulsion.
So basically, without using anything obviously mechanical.
Yes. But that would also mean then somebody has researched a way to replicate in a device something people do.
So, being the fact that this is still a base mechanical device, we do have that little girl who really likes building robots. I mean, this is probably up her alley of something that she might be doing.
Well,
Why?
we also
I mean, it could be somebody else, but
we're also friends with someone who can, if not completely break the laws of physics,
she could try really, really hard.
Bend them out of shape. So I would certainly trust Dr. Tink a tad more than.
Oh, I was not suggesting that we go to whatever the hell her name is.
You trust Tink more than a psychotic little girl? What?
Yeah, now I'm thinking more of the psychotic little girl might possibly be, like responsible for these.
Yeah, but the question is why? What would be the end game?
If little girls do anything that they do, I mean,
except this was very deliberate. there was
Yeah.
deliberately there was a deliberate avoidance of Neva's identity, of Jack's identity. There was a whole lot of attention paid to Mr. Showman over there.
Hey, I'm so just glad I got it.
Well, some
So-
of it they can't really.
So,
Right. but-
Gene, you're a person who pays attention to what's going on in the world of people with powers. You know, even in your previous, retirement or hiatus, you still,
Mhm.
would keep up with stuff. And you're thinking about all of this. And the thing that keeps coming to mind is you see a lot of footage of heroes fighting villains. You watch it on the news and other stuff like that. And, occasionally you watch like a special show profiling stuff that people can do. And there is a lot of film footage about people. This probably has been going on a long time. Like there's footage of Sentinel flying around in his power armor. Who's around? Who's able to keep up with him and fly and use a camera too to catch him as he does like his big superhero landing onto the roof of a building, unless it's somebody like Ace flying alongside of him. So this probably is something that isn't new by any stretch of the imagination. And they didn't have film like this when you were originally being a hero. Things were a bit more shadowy and whatnot, and you get pictures occasionally to come out of stuff a reporter or somebody happened by, but nothing like these days where you have lots of cell phone footage and this mysterious stuff showing up as well.
Right. Which, how did the program get the unedited footage unless they took it?
Yeah.
You said there was
So
a
that's
you said there was a registration for this guy right after we took him down, right?
He's not registered. He just shows up
Sure.
as a person. So he doesn't have a registration ID or anything like that. He does have a prisoner ID
Okay.
or an inmate ID as he is, awaiting trial somewhere.
Okay.
And he is new to the system as of after the fight.
Okay. I misunderstood. I thought you meant that basically someone had submitted a registration for him.
No, somebody just
Hopefully
typed his
retroactively.
information into
Got
the
it.
system. They
Ah.
did not know who he was 2 days ago.
Right.
yeah.
But
Okay.
after it was a public demonstration, he got entered into the system. So,
Any
I
way you
mean,
can figure out who entered him?
Ooh, that would be a question for Tink to trace.
well, I mean, it doesn't have like, a lot of databases, even something like, a telecom company and their customer service.
Oh,
It
yeah.
logs who accessed the file.
Yeah, actually, it would log that in. So interestingly, you know exactly who logged that in. Because
It wasn't Will,
is...
was it?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was... Hang on a second here. There it is. That would be... it was entered in by Marla, who is your primary contact with STEM.
Okay, but
She's
that
the
makes,
person you meet with every month.
I mean, that makes sense though, because we did call it in for him to be picked up, and it would have been Marla who, was dealing
Actually-
with the paperwork end of things.
He was not picked up by STEM. He was picked up by the police.
Mhm.
Oh.
Because Crash had called his contact and
left
had him
with Emerson.
arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously,
And
our
as
next-
best you know, Emerson still has him in custody. And STEM does not have him.
our next move is to track down Marla, confront her in her home and interrogate her until she tells us everything she knows. Who's with me?
Feel like you might be overreacting just a little bit. Maybe we step back, have another cup of coffee,
or less coffee.
less coffee. Yeah.
I mean, if you guys don't want to go about it the direct route, I suppose that's up to you.
Well, this is, you know, something that requires subtlety, charm, and not a blunt instrument. So sort of looking over at Jean.
It's like I'm like everyone looks over at Jean.
The hidden drone
What?
in the room turns and turns to Jean.
I laugh, you laugh, the toaster laughs, I shoot the toaster.
Shoot the toaster.
Yeah.
Although, to Crash's credit, I will amend that interjection simply with the word yet.
We'll make a proper rogue out of you yet.
Well, you know,
Keep the coffee coming, and yeah.
yeah. Take her out for coffee. Put the old charm on.
Mm-hmm.
See what she knows. In the meantime, I'd like to take a deep dive into the footage and just see if my math magic skills can pull anything else off of it.
Patrick, can I
right.
make another bureaucracy roll to see if the tech that we're looking at is identifiable as that which STEM either innovates or would acquire and then issue to successful applicants?
Roll a bureaucracy roll. This one will be target 5.
Target 5. Bureaucracy. 5.
Let's see how accurate of an answer you can get to that.
Throwing in a level of effort. And boom.
Oh,
Bum bum ba-dum. Okay. Oh
So-
well.
the best you can think of is there are divisions of STEM that deal with technology and equipment. So it's not beyond the possibility that either they could develop something themselves or they could contract out with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know,
Okay.
for instance, that the Sentinel, Simon Sawyer, one of the members of the Liberty League, as he always refers to himself, does own, amongst, in addition to his property empire, he does own a large set of tech companies, which is what he uses to produce his armor, amongst other things. And also has technology that's found like in cell phones everywhere and other stuff. So he's just rolling in it.
Yeah,
So it's possible that one of the that some person's private interests may have the technology and sell it to STEM. It is possible STEM might have it itself.
Okay.
I mean, I doubt if we take this apart that we're going to find a, STEM serial number or something on the inner workings,
Oh, that would be way too obvious. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
It's already
Again, we're
taken
trying
apart.
to,
Just saying.
yeah. Just trying to establish as many links as possible to known quantities.
Certainly.
You can appreciate that, I'm sure, Jack.
Oh, definitely.
All right. It's 10 o'clock already. All right, so as you're working on puzzling through the device and looking at it and grinding through the calculations for putting the various camera angles and stuff into a computer model with an eye towards things like how often do cameras pass each other's view. That may have happened in there somewhere. It'd be interesting to see how these things show up on each other's feeds and whatnot. So, and with the additionally downloaded material, you get some extra angles on things. For instance, the stuff downloaded off of the STEM server shows Neva's face. Now, as you can see her, clear as day a couple times because it catches just that right angle and whatnot. You can actually see her underneath, the hoodie that's down. That isn't included in the rest of it. So these are actually seamless things that haven't been edited out yet for public release or whatnot.
Right.
So you're working on all this stuff, and then you hear the PA system for the building buzz. And you look at the box on the wall. And interestingly, the light that's coming up is for Gen X's place. Somebody is trying to buzz your apartment.
Were we really stupid enough to label them? Really?
I waited for everybody else to choose. I actually don't mind my regular pad. This is just going to be...
Well, it turns out you didn't label them, but the people who set the system up did. With, of course, your standard, street names that you're with your day job names that you're using, not necessarily your legal ones, of course, because Crash doesn't let anybody know that stuff,
right?
And Jack doesn't know it. What's my name? Birth certificate? Are you crazy?
Hey, first rule of OPSEC, you can't divulge information you don't know.
Yes. So the thing buzzes again. Bzz, bzz.
I guess I should go get that.
You should go get that, yeah.
So you're going to go to the door or just over to the panel?
I'm going to go over to the panel first. And I assume I push a button.
Yep.
Okay. Bzz. Can I help you?
You take your finger off the button, and then you hear, coming from the other side, "Howdy, partner. I heard that you're, not new to town, but you got new digs. Mind if I come up and check them out?"
I look back at the group and I go back. Tell you what, I'll meet you downstairs first. And I go down to, I assume it's a female voice?
Yes.
Okay.
It is one you have grown to know fairly well at this point.
He may have smacked your ass.
Yeah, may, possibly.
Yeah, you tend to remember things like that.
Right. So
Jack's sort of silently motioning like, should we leave? Leave you
just stay pat.
not
No, it's like so I trot down the stairs.
You can't argue with the guns on her.
Go out to the lobby and
so through the door you see a person who is still wearing her barista apron, holding a bag with some colored tissue sticking out of it, and a Tupperware with what looks to be some sort of casserole. And as you open the door, she says, "Oh, hey, I thought I'd come over and be the first one to give you a housewarming gift."
Mom, is
And
that
that's-
you?
And that's it for issue 13,
Excellent.
Lights, Chimera, Action.
There you go. All right. So yes, as Patrick said, that is it for issue 13 of The Powers That Be. We are going to take a break 2 weeks from now. So the current plan is we'll be back in 4 weeks. But right now, we're going to go and take a quick break and then come back and film our after show. That'll be up on YouTube in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, for Patrick, Matt, Julie, Ray, and ECAT in absentia, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everybody.